Hi, I'm Kenisha. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to talk about Season 1, Episode 1 of The Other Black Girl. I think this is going to be a fun show. The first episode really had me excited about what might be to come. I really like the supernatural kind of mystical aspect that might be happening in the show. I think that's going to be really fun to sort of dig in and speculate and try and figure out what is happening in this company. I just think this is going to be a fun show and I'm excited to finish it. I'm super curious about what happened to Kendra Rae Phillips. The opening scene is... I'm not sure how literally I'm supposed to take what happened in that opening shot. So we see Kendra kind of stumbling into frame. Side note, I do wonder if those papers she put in her bag are gonna end up coming back later. No idea what they were. Could have just been like some editing notes, so maybe it's nothing. But the fact that that was kind of the first action she took, being on screen, it makes me think maybe this is gonna be important. Maybe those papers are gonna be important for later on. Maybe it was evident, I don't know, but I'm just like, I thought it was interesting that happened before everything else. So I got my eye on if there's some kind of, I just wonder if those papers that she had are gonna come back up later on in the series. But I do find it very interesting, the transition between Kendra getting on the elevator, or maybe she was getting off the elevator, and then getting onto the subway. I don't know if I'm supposed to take that as just it's a cool transition, which it was, or if something, or if that was more significant and like a signal to what is happening in the show. I'm thinking that might mean Kendra entered some kind of alternate world, or like a pocket dimension or something. I don't know. But just like, it was really cool to see the transition between the elevator to the subway. It's very well done. And I guess just the way my mind works, I wonder if that means something more than just a cool transition. And like, I guess my first thought, first thought about what happened to Kendra is I'm gonna go with the alternate dimension kind of route. Maybe she got, I guess the company or someone in the company was able to make her disappear, essentially. And I think she's trapped in some other reality or whatever, alternate world, whatever you want to call it. I don't think she's of this world anymore, basically. And that's just first impressions. As the show, as I continue watching episodes, I bet I'm gonna change my mind about what happened to her. So look out for that, I guess. But yeah, just first impression, maybe this is some kind of alternate reality or something that Kendra ended up getting, I don't know, summoned into or trapped or something like that. And I wonder if anyone besides Richard is in on what happened to Kendra. I mean, there's that wall of white people who I guess are all editors that are all people who have been editors in the company. Of course, Richard was first and he's the editor-in-chief. And then there are all those other faces. So I guess they were all editors over the years. But I no idea of how many of those people are still working besides Richard. And so far we've only met Maisie and, is it Vera? I think it was Vera is her name, who seemed to be like full-time editors currently. So I don't know. So I don't know if any of those other people that were on the wall are gonna come back up besides Kendra. And maybe it's not their place to know about whatever supernatural stuff is happening in the company, but I think Richard has to know what is going on. I guess it's possible that he wouldn't, but seems unlikely. So I'm just gonna peg him as the guy who is in control of whatever weird stuff is happening in the company. It might also be that Kendra, or maybe her spirit, I don't know, is like trapped inside the building. That's kind of what it felt like when Nella's computer like cut off and we could see Kendra's reflection. And then of course at the end, the same thing happened where you could see Kendra's reflection in the elevator doors. So like, is she trapped in the building? Is she in some alternate world where, I don't know, reflections are like a way to see in the other world? Like, I don't know, just throwing stuff out. But like, that's kind of what crossed my mind as I was watching. Like, could she be trapped in the building somehow, or like in the structure of the building? I don't know. I mean, that I take those shots literally, but I guess it could be figurative in that Nella, like, maybe the show was trying to say that Nella is gonna end up like Kendra, and that's like a clue maybe that the show is given to the viewers, to just be like Nella might just end up just I feel like I was saying that weird. That might be a clue that Nella might end up like Kendra. And this is just a way for the show to hint at what might be coming. So maybe that's all it is, and maybe it's not supernatural or mystical. But I just want to say that it did cross my mind that maybe that's what happened to Kendra, and she's stuck or trapped in the building, but like not of this world. I don't know. I think it's gonna be really fun to try and figure out and take in like how the show depicts Kendra and what happened to her. And I don't know if there's gonna be like flashbacks to 1988 in every episode, but I hope this episode isn't the only time it happens. I hope we get some more I don't know, looks into Kendra's life at Wagner. And I kind of feel like, okay, let me start with the conversation that Nella and Hazel have. So they're like, I don't know, out to lunch or something in some kind of pavilion. I'm calling it lunch, but I don't actually think they were eating any food at the time. But anyway, that scene where they're talking about people in the company. So Hazel has met Diane Gordon, and they both love the book she wrote. I thought it was interesting that Diane and Kendra worked together, and it sounded like they were her childhood friends. And they both worked at Wagner. I'm just wondering if history is going to repeat itself. I'm taking away from that conversation that maybe Kendra and Diane have like this the same sort of dynamic that Nella and Hazel are gonna have. Kendra, like, obviously something happened to her, and Diane went on to have this very successful book, it seems like. And I just wonder if Diane was able to write that book because Kendra maybe lost favor with the company somehow. Like, it seems like Nella is happening to her right now. So I'm just wondering if there's gonna be a lot of parallels between Kendra and Diane in the past and Nella and Hazel in the present. And I wonder if their like storylines are gonna mirror each other in any way. And the comment Hazel made about meeting Diane and like meeting her was life-changing. Maybe that's a nothing line, and maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I feel like maybe if back in 1980 whatever, if Kendra and Diane were working at Wagner together, and then there was some kind of struggle for who's gonna be the only like black person in the building, and Diane won, like, I just wonder if Diane gave Hazel all the information she needs to like rise up the ranks and kind of throw Nella under the bus. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I just felt like that line about meeting her was life-changing. I just think maybe Diane mentored her and gave her all the information she needs to succeed at Wagner. So I don't know, maybe that's what happened. So the person that was like spying on Nella and bumped into the security guard and took the badge, that's an interesting development, and I wonder if that was a former employee of Wagner. Like, I wonder like, what is their relationship to Wagner and why would that person be there? So maybe they were a former employee and maybe they noticed Nella working there. Maybe they saw that Hazel was hired, and like, I don't know if it's a case of just like two black people can't work at Wagner, there must only be one. I don't know how that works. So maybe, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I was gonna say the person that bumped into the security guard, was that an employee when Nella first was hired there? It kind of seemed like Nella, like throughout Nella's employment at Wagner, there was never ever another black person working there. And that's kind of the vibes I got when she was talking with Yang. So I don't know if the person that took the security badge, if they were a former employee. I'm not so sure that her time and Nella's time ever overlapped. So I don't know what's up with that. And I'm assuming that she was a former employee, because, like, why else? Well, there's probably several other reasons, but I think, I just think she used to work there and is aware of whatever crap is going on at Wagner. I guess in terms of diversity or whatever you want to say. So I feel like that person is trying to look out for Nella and is probably aware that Hazel got hired. And I think that is the person that left the note in Nella's coat, "Leave Wagner now." I just feel like that was the same person. I don't think it was Hazel. I mean, it could have been Kendra. In my mind, if she's trapped in the building, maybe she was able to, possess someone and write it. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out. But yeah, I just think the person that took the security badge was able to leave that note in Nella's coat. And I just feel like that was a former employee who is aware of whatever stuff is going on at Wagner. And maybe she's just trying to look out for whoever comes next. Or is it possible that she could be tied to whatever papers Kendra took in her bag? Like, I'm still wondering if the papers Kendra had was some kind of evidence. I don't know. But maybe those things are connected, but they're probably not, and I'm thinking too hard about this. Also, I really like the writing of this episode, and this is based on a book, so I don't know how much credit the show should get for this, but I really like how the show set up the sort of conflict with Colin and Nella's opinion of his book in Chartreuse. So Nella was talking to, I think her name is Vera. Is that? Yeah, okay, I wrote it down. Vera. So Nella gives her comments about the book. They're negative. And I like that Vera tells Nella to keep her thoughts on the book between the two of them. And of course, Hazel comes in the picture and Nella spills to her thoughts on the book. And of course, everything that happened. I just like the writing of that keep it between us. And of course, Nella doesn't, and things are gonna start to spiral out of control, and there's gonna be conflict and tension at Wagner, and I guess between Nella and Colin, if he is gonna be a recurring character. I don't know. But like I said, the show is based on a book, so I don't know how much credit the show should get, but I just like that bit of dialogue, and that was sort of the jumping off point for all the madness that will probably ensue. So, do I think Nella is going to end up like Kendra? Right now, yes. And as I keep watching, that answer will probably change several times. But yeah, I do think, for now, Nella is going to end up like Kendra. It would be a great, switch up if somehow Nella could, turn the tables and have Hazel end up like Kendra. But I don't know, maybe that's not in the cards, but that would be a cool change. But I don't know if this show, and I don't know about the book, I don't know if this is gonna be like a happy ending kind of show where the protagonist wins, and evil is defeated and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it doesn't feel good for Nella, I'll say. But yeah, for now, I do think Nella's gonna end up like her, and I reserve the right to change my mind every episode. But yeah, those are really my thoughts on this first episode. I really enjoyed this, and I'm very much looking forward to more. Like I said at the beginning, I think this is gonna be a fun watch, and I think it's gonna be really fun for me to try and theorize and speculate and try and figure out what it is that is happening at this company and what happened to Kendra, and like why is it happening? Is there any, like, is it supernatural? Is it mystical? Is it like, I don't know, Richard Wagner made a deal with the devil? Like, I don't know, to have all this success with like Colin or something. I don't know. Maybe it's Colin's fault. I don't know. But yeah, I just think it's gonna be fun to ride this ride and see what's gonna happen to Nella and Hazel. So that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know in the comments, actually, did you know or read the book before you watched the series? I did not, but like, how many of you did? So let me know if you did in the comments. Let me know if you had no idea about the book until the show came out. So yeah, let me know. I'm very interested to see. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time for episode 2.